Welcome to Your Good News. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. This is a show dedicated to nothing but things that will make you smile or at least help you find hope and faith in humanity. The world is a rough place, and sometimes we just need to hear some of the good things that are going on. Well, we just finished up an election, and there were some historic wins, including an upset for mayor of St. Paul. The election of Kali Herr makes several historic firsts for St. Paul. She's the first woman and Hmong American to be chosen as that city's mayor. Ian Russell has more on that impact.
Much can change with time. 3 months have passed since Kali Herr announced her run for mayor, and 4 hours after polls closed.
My name is Kali Herr, and I'm proud to stand before you today as the first Asian and the first woman mayor-elect to the city.
She officially became mayor-elect around midnight, a historic first on two fronts. And in 2 months, she'll assume office, a rise, leaving other Hmong Americans proud.
Our children can really learn from and be proud that we have someone that looks like them, that will continue to inspire them, and that is really doing something well.
Mi Vang leads the United Hmong family, hosting the Hmong New Year and Summer Festival. She says it's been 50 years since the first Hmong family arrived in Minnesota, which makes this journey to get here that much more impactful.
We've dreamt of it, but never imagined we would be in this lifetime, be able to see it, and Kali gave birth to that realization. And that's the very profound thing, is being able to validate and say, we are no different. We are all one community.
Community who never thought they'd see the day.
You just never even thought to dream that big.
Hmong American Partnership President and CEO Mein Zatao says as a kid, there weren't elected officials who looked like her, which is why this matters.
You didn't see anybody in these roles that looked like us, that came from our communities. I think that this is great for especially our younger folks.
A chance to inspire and represent.
This is just going to inspire another whole new generation of up-and-coming leaders.
As times change and a new mayor gets ready to take over.
That I was able to experience, so I'm so honored and privileged to see this history.
Herr is at the start of her political rise, but another Minnesota politician is calling it quits. State Senator Sandy Pappas has announced her plans to leave the Minnesota legislature in 2026. After 42 years, Danny Spiewak sat down with Pappas as she reflects on her decades of service.
Only a handful of legislators in Minnesota history have served as long as Senator Sandy Pappas.
It's sad because the legislature does become your family.
But after 4 decades at the Capitol, Pappas has decided to retire next year.
At a certain point, you just decide it's really time.
It's the same reason she ran for office in the first place.
It was my time.
The year was 1984.
I'm Sandy Pappas. I'm the DFL endorsed candidate for the state legislature.
That fall, Pappas won a seat in the House by ousting DFL incumbent Frank Rodriguez in a primary.
I think it's between the old style of politician, kind of one of the good old boys, and a new breed.
Pappas was an outlier at the time.
I was the radical feminist from St. Paul, and now everybody's just like me.
In 1990, Pappas won an election to the state Senate and even ran for St. Paul mayor in 1997, losing to incumbent Norm Coleman.
We may not have won today, but what we put together over the last 10 months will continue.
After the defeat, Pappas returned to the state Senate, where she was heavily involved in education issues.
Why are we always forcing our school districts to make do?
Eventually, Pappas rose to become Senate President in 2013.
Is there any discussion on House File 1127?
And her influence only accelerated from there.
Some of my best accomplishments were in the past 10 years, and I would have missed out on that if I'd retired earlier.
Pappas says she's most proud of passing legislation around women's economic security, expanded retirement programs, and the Minnesota DREAM Act, which allows undocumented students to access financial aid for college.
That was probably my most emotional bill that I passed, because you had these high school students who desperately wanted to go to college.
Whether you agreed with her policies or not, Pappas's voting record has been remarkably consistent over the years.
We need the ERA because women still get fired for being pregnant.
Pappas currently chairs the Capital Investment Committee, where she works across the aisle with Republicans to fund infrastructure projects across the state.
Water, sewer, roads, the boring things that most people, but essential.
She hopes to get one more bonding bill done next year before she retires.
What would be your advice to the person who's elected to your seat next?
Relationships, and do the background, and then make sure you know what you're doing.
Danny Spiewak, KARE 11 News.
Pappas is tied with State Senator Ann Rest as the longest-serving current member of the legislature. Rest also has announced that she will retire next year. Well, the government shutdown has had many effects, probably none more widespread than the SNAP benefits that were cut for hundreds of thousands of Minnesotans. But there is good news. Many businesses have decided to step up and do something to help. Shakopee Bowl is one of them. Here's Heidi Wigdahl.
At Shakopee Bowl, the first thing you see is a familiar phrase.
If you build it, they will come.
In the world of sport. And they have been coming for the past 7 years.
Yeah, we have a big area.
Dave Johnson lives 2 blocks away.
It was empty and nobody was coming here. In June of 2018, the bowling alley had announced that it was going to be closing. And a friend and I, neighbor, came up with the crazy idea to buy Louisville lanes.
They went from 16 employees to 110.
Everyone here is so nice, so welcoming.
I like this a lot because it's great business.
Welcome to the bathroom. These are brand new.
Every detail has a goal.
So if you're going to build something, you might as well make it fun.
Before this, Dave built and remodeled houses.
You've never worked in a bar. You've never worked in a bowling alley. I have no idea what I'm doing, what I'm getting myself into, other than I know I can do it. I know I have a vision.
Ever since, he's been building on that vision. Beyond the bowling lanes, there's an arcade, 2 wiffle ball fields.
It's a blast out here in the summertime.
Volleyball courts with Florida palm trees.
Any refills over here?
And enough tables to seat nearly 200 people. They're known for hosting charitable giving events. So it was right up their alley when SNAP benefits were paused.
We have a kids menu, and if they order a cheeseburger off of the kids menu, they get a cheeseburger, an applesauce, and a kids drink. And we don't ask. It's just zero price on our menu right now. That way somebody doesn't have to come in and ask for the special. It's just that's what we do.
Since it started Saturday, Dave says many families have come in.
I was raised by a single dad, 5 kids, and we didn't know where the next meal was coming from. I had to raise myself. And I know that there's families out there and parents out there. They don't want to ask for help, but they need it.
If you build it, they will come.
You know, the vision was here and we built it and people are coming here.
Next up, Shakopee Bowl is opening an ice cream parlor in about 2 weeks. For Behind the Business, I'm Heidi Wigdahl, KARE 11 News.
Still to come, the Dodgers World Series win and the double connection it has to River Falls, Wisconsin. But first, here's some of your good news that you shared with us this week. Francis says it's my husband's birthday, 67. We all love him so much and hope he has a great day. We've been married 23 years. He's a great husband and a fantastic father to our 4 boys, Kenny, Andrew, Jake, and Austin, and our daughter Mariah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday indeed.
Yes, that's awesome. Yaya and Bobby from Lakeville say this is our dog Lola, and it's her favorite time of the year. She's known in the neighborhood as the leaf catcher.
Wonder why.
You can see there, yeah. They say she likes to bring home leaves to share with us after her daily walk. What a sweetheart.
Collector. How about that?
And Gloria says, sharing a fun bit of good news, we got married on Halloween. We are Michael and Gloria Barrett, and our wedding was officiated by Minister Falto of the planet Zorgnut. There was a costume party encouraged afterwards. It was the best way we could imagine to celebrate the love that we have found, and hope it gives you guys a laugh. Congrats.
Those memories are going to last forever.
Those people seem fun, don't they?
Anytime.
Welcome back. Los Angeles may be the one celebrating the Dodgers World Series win, but we have reason to cheer too. There were Minnesota and Wisconsin natives on both teams that played. Morgan has a story of 2 River Falls teammates who became champions.
This small town is now part of baseball history. The first time former high school teammates have won a World Series together.
This is Alex right here.
Big league dreams
JP is right here.
became a reality for JP Feyereisen and Alex Call.
It's really special to see good things happen for good people who truly earn it, who work so hard and do everything the right way.
Somewhere between River Falls and LA, 2 former high school teammates became World Series champions.
For sure.
Their former coach, Ryan Bishop's faith never faded.
To have those 2 to get a ring together the same year is like, it's never happened.
JP, a relief pitcher, was on the active roster during the regular season, But Alex was traded to the team late in the year and played in Game 5.
The two households that they grew up in are still a huge part of this community, and people you'd want great things to happen to, like it's those two families right there.
Former teammate and friend Ryan Kuselik didn't get to a game in person, but Coach did. That wild Game 7, though, was watched from a phone on the road.
We kind of needed to pull over. There was just too much excitement.
What are you doing?
Golfing?
You're golfing. I should have known.
Ryan checking in with JP.
I'm glad that Alex, I know when he got traded over there, I'm like, well, go get me a ring, kid. And so it's kind of fun to be able to root for a fellow teammate.
And then we heard from Alex.
Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani and Will Smith, Max Muncy, go on and on.
Their legacy cemented in MLB books and back home.
This park doesn't get built without people like that.
A 300-seat stadium funded by donations was built shortly after the boys won their first state championship together in 2011.
I do think baseball's a huge stronghold within our community.
The players obviously love for the game, but the love for each other, the love for the brotherhood.
It's really cool that JP and I are going to be able to share a World Series ring.
Morgan Wolf, KARE 11 News.
Well, as we know, for high school athletes, sports are a big part of who they are. But one teenager sidelined after a life-changing diagnosis is now adapting and looking ahead. Here's Sammy Solina with his story.
Planning is certainly key in football.
Yeah, I like that.
But you always need to be ready to adapt.
Your grandma cooked some of the best pastries.
16-year-old AJ Walker is known for not sticking with the original plan.
Those rogue moments, I just gotta reel it in.
Just ask his dad, Derry, who coaches him.
Every situation, he molds quickly. It's like water, he just stays fluid.
Hey, handsome boy. But his mom, Melissa, and sisters, Audra and Aaliyah,
That's so funny.
Donnie just ripped.
love to support AJ through all 3 sports he does at St. Francis High because he reeks of passion.
How's practice been looking so far?
But last season, his momentum shifted.
I started noticing pains and aches that were never usually there before. The diagnosis was high-grade osteosarcoma in my femur, and I had several other metastases in my body.
So he was diagnosed with a fairly rare cancer that we see in teenage patients.
Dr. Arthi Kamath is a pediatric specialist at M Health Fairview Masonic Children's Hospital.
You know, his question was always, can I get back to wrestling? Can I get back to football?
They removed 10 inches of his femur.
Yeah, unfortunately, had to tell him the sports he was doing just weren't going to be possible.
Not being able to participate in something that you had such big plans moving forward after high school, it was devastating.
But that was just a piece of their concerns.
There came a point in the middle of his treatment that Dr. Kamath told us straight out that this is not going to end well, and we don't have a lot of hope. So he had sat us down one night at the kitchen table and he was like, I just want you guys to know, Mom and Dad, the two of us, that I'm okay with dying.
Because I want them to be at peace too. Because if there was a time that I had to leave this earth, I don't want them to be overly saddened.
He went through 10 rounds of chemotherapy while still supporting his teammates at practices and on the sidelines.
He just finished his last set of treatment, and so we have scans coming up.
And instead of mourning his old life,
I have adapted to the situation by going to TikTok.
He pulled an audible.
I have found a creative outlet in making sports videos, sports edits.
AJ has hundreds of thousands of views on his montages, and there's no telling what he'll do next.
He's in remission.
Road to recovery.
Yeah, road to recovery.
His family got those results back this week. And AJ is already coming up with a plan for the future.
Like sports journalism, sports therapy, sports broadcasting.
But no matter what, he's ready to adapt. Sammy Solina, KARE 11 News.
Doctors say they will need to continue monitoring AJ and keep up maintenance chemotherapy, but overall, they say he is doing very well. That is good news indeed. Still to come, inclusion in the arts and what that looks like from 2 completely different stories. But first, here's more of your good news that you shared with us this week. Christy Clayson from Otsego says today is Roxy's birthday. We got her from a property that I was managing a couple of years ago when we found her eating out of the dumpster. Poor, look at her standing up on her hind legs there. She's an interesting cat, growls at people who come to the door or walk past the house.
I do that too.
She thinks she's a watch cat or something. She has lots of fun playing with her fuzzy toy and then cuddling with Daddy. That's so cute. This one is from Diana Hansen from Sartell. She says, daily we get this handsome, goofy fella visiting our feeder. He certainly brings a smile and a chuckle. When given the option to be anything, choose to be your ridiculously amazing, one-of-a-kind, and utterly unapologetic self. Awesome advice, Diana. How do you turn your neck like that?
I don't know.
Susan Kate sent this in, and what a perfect day to showcase this handsome gentleman. She says, thank you to my father-in-law, Richard Bud Cates, for his service. He is 102 and my hero. He's a hero to a lot of people. Thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate it. Welcome back. A 25-year-old actress from Wisconsin is helping rewrite the narrative for people with disabilities with an inclusive twist in the upcoming Wicked sequel. Nicole Herzog has her story.
I think we're just about as excited as anyone else.
Sean and Patricia Bodie are still feeling the magic of Oz, all the way from Mazomanie.
It really has been exciting for this community, this small community, and not just Mazomanie, but what is called Wisconsin Heights. People just love her, and they love what she represents.
Their daughter, Marissa, is shattering stereotypes both on and off screen. And the new movie, For Good, is taking that role to the next level. In the musical version of Wicked, there's a moment where Nessa Rose is given the ability to walk. But Marissa will be the first to carry out an inclusive twist, brand new to the film adaptation.
I remember sitting down with John and he was telling me about the change, and I did feel a little bit of relief because I think it's a healthier way to represent disabled people. I think it's a common misconception that the deepest desire of a disabled person is to be healed or to be fixed. And while that can be true for some, for a lot of us, that's not our story.
It goes with the whole theme that everyone deserves a chance to fly. And here we see Marissa up in the air. That's what she wants to be.
By adapting the storyline, her parents say people with disabilities may be inspired to rewrite their own stories.
It lets them know that, they can reach for their dreams just like she did. Because, even after she became disabled and was no longer able to walk, she didn't give up on her dreams. She just, stuck with it.
As Marissa points out, you can be disabled at any time, at any moment. And it doesn't have to be visible. It can be invisible. And that shouldn't stop you from being noticed, recognized, and making adjustments, whether it's the workplace or in the community.
Marissa is not only representing wheelchair users in her starring role, but using her platform for advocacy.
Well, how does it feel to be able to have that role and, kind of take the lead on this, inspiring so many people?
It's been really cool, especially for the disabled community. Representation is important and all of that. Also, I think that just hits the iceberg of disability rights issues that are still ongoing today. And so the thing I think I want to inspire others to do most is be allies.
She says she hopes the role will also inspire audiences to stand up for people with disabilities.
Include disabled people in your spaces. Make sure that your spaces are accessible every day,
so that everyone has a chance to fly.
Speaking of inclusion in the arts, how about this next story? If you were among the thousands who walked through the Fine Arts Building at this year's Minnesota State Fair, you may have seen a crowd of people gathered around an intriguing drawing with a magnifying glass in hand. Our Boyd Hoopert happened upon it too and ended up getting a closer look at the artist who captivated so many.
At the Minnesota State Fair, it's all about big.
Look at the pig!
Biggest boar.
Face tower.
Tallest stick.
Two of you guys enjoy.
Grandest wheel.
It's crazy.
But this year at the Fine Arts Building,
so cool.
People couldn't stop focusing on Tiny.
I couldn't even write this small if I wanted to.
What could possibly be hidden in these crowd-attracting squiggles?
A lot of really good quotes.
Really?
If you can touch the moon, you will reach the stars.
Right there, just left of the shadow. See it? Written top to bottom.
That's nice. Love the life you were born to live. Yeah, that's a good one.
Which raises an often asked question.
Who made this?
The answer sits at the feet.
My name is Jeffrey Gauss.
Of this historic Minneapolis flour mill.
I'm working on a piece about freedom.
Jeffrey Gauss, put bluntly, is impaired.
I have something called high myopia.
In this world, not good.
When I don't have my glasses on, I can see colors and shapes and things, but I wouldn't be able to recognize a person, I wouldn't be able to read a sign.
But in his world,
we shall overcome.
Jeffrey's at home.
So I can see inches away without any magnification.
Remember, we are shooting this with a fully extended zoom lens.
It's amazing.
Otherwise, like these people at the state fair,
You could look at this for hours and find something new to look at.
you too would likely need a magnifying glass to see this.
Make peace with the universe around you.
How do you write so small?
There, I look over the top of my glasses to get that fine detail.
Third grade Jeffrey was once admonished by a teacher for not writing his name on a test.
She couldn't see it. It was that tiny. I just said, I think you might need glasses because I couldn't see that so clear.
With a single work taking months to complete, Jeffrey has a lot to doodle.
This was called Microdoodle Topiary.
Unaided, most of us see this.
This is called Microdoodle Calder.
But with a zoom lens,
he's right.
There's Waldo.
And I put him in that boat.
Surgery could fix Jeffrey if he needed fixing.
Everybody has a gift, I think, that God gives them, and I think if we really nurture those gifts and realize what they are, this world would be a much, much better place.
We are all God's children.
Not a bad lesson if we focus
Anything is possible.
on just finding it.
Did somebody do that by hand?
Boyd Hubert, KARE 11 News.
Holy crap.
Falcon Heights.
Jeff Goose is also known around the Twin Cities for his artwork on magnets, which does help him continue to work as a full-time artist. You will find a link to his website at KARE11.com. Now let's take a final listen to some of your good news that you shared with us this week. Ann Cole says on Saturday, November 1st, my Minnesota friends came to my assisted living residence and helped me celebrate my 80th birthday. We had a total of 17 people, including my housemates and caregivers, 4 young children ranging from 1 to 8 years old. A good time was had by all. That looks fun, and happy 80th birthday, Ann. That's so awesome. Jim Quinn wanted to share this cool photo. He says, my son Danny took this cool spooky picture at our apartment building in Plymouth, Minnesota. This was on November 3rd, so just a couple of days ago, but that is pretty spooky.
Yeah.
And Becky sent this in. She says, I'm sending this picture in on behalf of my dad. I'm going to, I hope, get their last name right. John Parental. Does that sound?
It looks right.
Okay.
Parental.
We catch your good news segment daily when we turn on KARE 11 so we can watch Jeopardy, and he thought that this picture of his and his mom's dog Daffodil would be perfect for your good news. Daffodil, by the way, is an English bulldog that will be 9 years old in December. My dad thinks she looks like she's modeling in this picture. She is the best girl, and we love her to pieces. Daffodil, you are very lovable. That's a lovable face. Thanks for joining us for Your Good News. If you'd like to share your good news with us, we do it every day at the end of our 4 p.m. newscast. All you got to do is send us an email to yourgoodnews@kare11.com. Be sure to add any pictures or videos of what you'd like us to share. No news is too big or too small. Do you have a new baby? Maybe your granddaughter got married. Maybe you even beat cancer or simply shared good time with good friends. We want to hear about it. And until we see you again, have an excellent week, friends.